10 seconds.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another View from the Dead Box. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's super funny. We're gonna leave that in. That's legit. The intro. That's
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so funny. So what's going on, dude?
Not much, man. Had a little longer day at work today, so
I know that's probably throwing your whole fucking day off now, huh?
God,
You're like, wait, I worked more than 4 hours?
yeah, terrible. I like it.
I was gonna ask you, you're wearing the polo. Is that a Jenkins polo or is that like a golf polo? Like, were you working or were you like really working?
I was working, dude.
Okay.
Working. You know,
That's
gotta
fair.
put a little work now that I've had a different position now.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
So
I went from watching on the retards burn things down to
oh my god.
stopping on the retards burning things down.
Are-
Or hold on.
So do you help them burn the things
Attempting
down?
to prevent all the retards from burning things down.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. I mean, you used to be one of them burning the stuff down, right?
No,
No.
I kind of skipped all that stage.
Oh, you got lucky. That was just
Yeah.
your brother and your dad.
Yeah.
So remember how I was not buying any more flex stuff?
Did you get the dark camos?
I got the dark camos.
Yeah. You know what? I fucking hate the flexes. I literally looked at those and said, if I had a pair of flexes, I would own those. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I would kind of own those.
I looked
like
at them
those.
real quick, like last week or whatever, when they dropped. I say last week. I mean, it's the 4th now. I think they dropped on the 31st ish. So
Yeah.
5 or 6 days ago. And I actually didn't pick up any right away. And I was talking to Shane on Sunday, and I was like, I saw them. I was like, I don't know if they have any left. He goes, they probably do. He goes, I accidentally bought 3. He goes, I was trying. He goes, I was driving. He goes, and I wanted to buy 2. He goes, one to like disassemble, use. He goes, so I was keep the other in the box. He goes, so if you want the other one at cost, he goes, you can have it. He goes, they already shipped. And I was like, oh, okay, well. I was like, yeah. I was like, what do they cost? He was like, it was like 206 or something. With he goes, I bought the ones that came with everything. So ended up looking out. I was like, I pay him this Friday or whatever. But I was like, I didn't look at them like really until today, and they match our ICPL jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why when I saw them, I was like, ooh, which I guess is similar to these. Aren't the Far Side ones, are they?
Yeah.
They are.
Watch
Okay.
this. Yeah. Hold on.
Okay. I like this. So, okay. So everyone who isn't watching, he just jumped up and he left the room. So I said something that triggered something good. This is fucking great. I'm super pumped. But yeah, we're talking about the new Flex stuff, the PB Retro.
You talking about this?
Oh, that is fucking dope. Yes. Oh,
You're talking about you're talking about that Far Side?
Where do I get that?
Yeah, you can't get this one, okay? Because this is a
I don't care. Oh, okay. He's
Blake's
holding
personal
up.
jersey.
Okay, so god dang. So for those of y'all that are, I'm actually okay. This is super exciting. I love my jersey. So everyone who's not like watching the video, he's holding up a Dynasty Blake Yarborough jersey, but the Far Side one. Dude, that is sick. I did not know they released. I'm saying released those. I say that very loosely.
Yeah, release isn't the word. Yeah. So.
Oh, I'm gonna have to talk. I want. Can you give more details?
We'll talk offline.
Okay. That's what I figured because that's fucking dope.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I'm all about my team jerseys. Like they don't have to be super anything crazy pro owned or whatever, but that's a sick one. Like that.
Now that I have a lot of pro jerseys now.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I should have, because about a year ago, I sold all my old pro jerseys that I had. And then I started accumulating them on accident again. Like I started getting them on trades, and then I just started like getting good deals on them and stuff like that. And then, just had a Frazier jersey, a Greenspan jersey. We got a fucking Dalton Vanderbilt Impact jersey. I have a lot of some trauma jerseys. I got Far Side. I mean, you got a bunch of random shit now, but
yeah.
I kind of feel like damn, I should have saved the ones I got rid of originally, but it is what it is. It's fine. I like the new school jersey as much as the only jersey I wish I had. And I could have had a chance of 2 of them, but I just can't bring myself to buy them, which you probably know, is the Lang Dragon jersey from Dynasty, you know, or even the Lang Iron Man jersey when he first went over. Either one of those would be fine. Obviously, I would like the Dynasty one, but I wouldn't be subjective to have the Iron Man jersey either. But I definitely, that's the only one I would really want. But when I started selling all my pro jerseys, I was kind of like, man, I really don't want to keep dumping money on stuff I'm not going to be fucking using, you know, even though a lot of these jerseys all hold their value, they're not going to go down. Like I had a lot of those old pro jerseys for hell, like 15, 20 years. Now. I had them like forever ago. And then I sold them for probably 4 times as much money as I bought them for, which isn't like a huge come up or something, but I was selling the Hurricanes jersey for like $120.
God, I was getting ready to ask you what you sold because my screen's back like that right now, but behind me, I have a brand new Hurricanes jersey with the tags on it, like from 07 or 08.
And that's a blank one, I'm assuming.
Yeah, right? It's a blank. Yeah,
$100 easy.
See, I have a dye one as well, and then I got 2 damage ones. They're like
I had damage with a wrecking ball.
Yeah, like dye C10s or 11s.
I think I actually sold that to Mike for pretty cheap pain. I think I sold it for like $80. Like I hooked him up with that one.
See, and I got an Iron Man above me. It was allegedly pro owned. I don't know. I have no way to back that up. It was some dude gave to me in a trade, and I was like, well, I can't prove that. I was like, but allegedly, but it's a C7, which I think that's the year like that was like Marcelo Margot, one of the years with Ollie. It was like the first or second year he came back over there. And then I have another, this is a signed Iron Man jersey. I think it's a C10 or 11. It's brand new with tags, and it's a good size too. I think it's an extra large or 2X. I can't quite read the tag from here, but
those are worth some money.
Yeah, and then I have this one popped up on eBay. It was in 2007 at the MPPL. They did an All-Star game, and I believe from what I've been able to find out, it's the only year they did an All-Star game. They did like East Coast versus West Coast. And I had always wanted one of the jerseys, and obviously because I live on the East Coast, I wanted an East Coast one. And I don't know who this player is, but it's allegedly a pro player. They only made 15 for each side, and I'll have to find the jersey to look at the name. But I have one of those, but I only paid $40 for. I have no idea what it's worth. Yeah, but I imagine it's got to be at least $100, like at a minimum. But I think probably more, just because in general they're so rare. Like supposedly there's only 30 jerseys, like 15 East Coast, 15 West Coast, and that was it. And I have one of the East Coast ones. That was what information I was able to find on PB Nation about it. Like it was very hard to research something like that because I was like, I hope this guy is right. I kind of taken his word for it because it was like no one had seen it or anything like that. So I don't know. I got a few others too. I'm trying to think. I have a Vicious long sleeve somewhere that's from like 07. That's probably worth a little bit of money.
Red or black?
I believe black. I think.
Yeah, the red one's goated because red one's like Tiger Woods Sunday kind of.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. And then I have a Russian Legion practice long sleeve that Jamie played with occasionally. Like I would always throw it in the gear bag. I wore it for a little bit, and then I was like, oh, let me put that in there just in case someone needs a jersey. And then someone one time said, oh, those are kind of rare, and I picked it up at Cup 2. I think it was at a Russian Legion booth.
Remember, you probably would have been mad, man. I probably should have sold it to you. My green camo excessive jersey.
Oh yeah, I would have liked that. That's one I want.
I sold that like probably about 2 years ago for about $200, I think.
Oh yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, it sold for a grip, you know, and Pal had the matching pants for it.
I had a pair of those matching pants I got from Ben Nutting. I think they're in my parents' attic.
Same ones. I bet they're the same ones. They gotta be the same ones.
Yep, they probably both got them. Yep, they might be the same pair, or they both got them at first.
They're the same pair.
I'm trying to think. There's a few. I have to go through because I got a lot of soft goods, and I have a couple old JT jerseys that I'm sure. I mean, they're not like pro team jerseys, but people see anything with JT, and if it's old, they'll pay. I have a couple old Angel jerseys as well. Mm-hmm. Those were what me and a couple of my friends bought when we played a 3-man at your dad's. We like went on first call.
Yep. And
bought these jerseys for $15-$20 a piece. I had one, Jamie had one, and Grant had one. And we did the same with some Evil jerseys too.
The JT jerseys, like the bubble jerseys and shit. They remade those now, but they go for some money now.
I'll have to find the one I have because your brother has one. They were probably like yours and his, or yours and your dad's, or something like that. But me and him wore them when they would let us do the dress up days in high school as like twin day or whatever. Me and him wore those because like, oh, that's an easy cop out. Like I could be comfy as fuck all day and not have to be in a fucking uniform or whatever. So I was like, let's do that. And he was like, I just keep it. I have to look at what that one is because I'm not that I sell that jersey because some of them are kind of.
How much gear do you think you have sold throughout the years that wasn't really worth a lot of money? Like it was holding its value then, but now it's worth way more money now. Do you think
a complete set of HBJT white bottoms, visor, everything? That probably, I can't imagine. I know my beat up ones, just the frames, Shane has said like $100, and they are stained all to hell. So I can imagine that set was, I got from Gordon for like $50 or $60. It was clean when I sold it like in 2009.
Yeah.
That's probably now a $300 mask.
Yeah.
Dude, so many guns.
I was like, ask, what do you think your most expensive gun was that is worth money now?
I bet as clean as that Origin Ego was, we all had, everyone took very good care of that gun. I bet that gun would be worth a decent penny right now.
Yeah, the Aqua.
Yeah, the Aqua. Well, that was a one of 52-ish around there. That was an Origin. I've had my Hurricanes SLs.
Yeah,
they were a little beat up because one of them was I have messages from actually playing Eclipse, was a proven team gun. So only the team guns came with
the Reds pepper stick, right?
Yep, those are the only ones that came with the Reds pepper sticks were team guns. That barrel fucking was shit. That's like one of the worst barrel systems I ever had. But it made the gun worth so much more. And I had the 3 backs and the 2 fronts, which it didn't fit in a regular Ego 7 case because of that. So when I bought the gun, it didn't come with a case. And I don't even know, maybe they didn't give them to the pro players with case. I really don't know. So I hunted on PB Nation. I was like, I want a case to make this gun complete. And when I got it, I didn't think about the barrel system not fitting in there, but I found a brand new Ego 7 case. So when I sold that gun, I ended up keeping that case. I have a brand new in the box Ego 7 case. And I'm like, I saw someone wanting to buy one. They're like $120. I'm like, I paid $30 for that damn thing. And I'm like, I just don't know where it is right now. Because I have a few other gun cases. But that Hurricanes is probably the one that was worth the most. I had 2 of them at the same time. One of them I got from Shane. It was a little more beat up than my personal, the one I used the most.
Yeah.
But I think I paid like $320 for that gun in like 2014. I kept it till like 2017 because we weren't really playing a lot then. And I want to say I sold it for like $750. Like that gun appreciated a lot. But I bet now it probably complete how it was, probably close to $800, like maybe more. Everything was good shape except for the eye covers. The ano had almost worn completely off both of the eye covers.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. Like everywhere else, I wouldn't say flawless. I mean, it was a 15-year-old gun basically, but it was weird that it like faded everywhere, or only faded on the eye covers. Everywhere else stayed good. What about you? You've had a lot of guns. I've had a lot of guns. Both of us had a lot of guns, but you've probably had more than I have. But
I can think of 4 off the top of my head that are probably worth a lot of money now. And in my head, I think I'll go with least rarity, like least value up to highest value of just the 4 I'm thinking of the top of my head. Probably I had an orange to black fade Oracle.
Yeah, that's probably decent money right now.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole mech thing coming back.
Yeah.
Was that mechanical by chance?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So mech. Then I had, trying to think, this probably the Miami Vice, Miami Rage A1.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
I think Jonathan Davis actually has one now, but I had that. 3 would probably be my Shock Tech Timmy.
Yeah.
That's probably worth a fucking grip.
Yeah.
And then probably my SL66 excessive purple people eater with star frame.
Even with the custom hacksaw job.
Yeah. It's probably, God, I was just talked about that gun at the CPXL like a few weeks ago.
Yeah. We
were just talking about guns, and I seen some guy posting his collection for sale, and he had 3 of the black yellows, 1 of the gold blacks, and what other weird color.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I wish I could fucking find a purple people eater. I don't know where it is, but it was a 1 of 3, because back then we didn't have the numbers and knew what the shit was.
Yep.
I had it when it was new. But yeah, God, that gun was a fucking tank.
I would probably add, this gun was relatively rare. My NT11, but it was a lift. And I believe there was only, from what I did research 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever I had the gun, I want to say it was 25 or 15 guns. And I had everything except for on the way out, the dude, this was the story he told me. So it was one of the lift guys. Like I bought it directly from him. He said the barrel tip he put on the back of his buddy's car and he drove off and couldn't find it. But it had everything else. And so he ended up knocking, like, I got a pretty good deal on it. Now, granted, it came in fucked up. And
that's an NT for you.
It is an NT. I called Dye and they were super good. They were like, yeah, just send it out. And like they literally fixed it. Was I believe the solenoid I think actually went bad, and it was not even a year old, but they replaced the solenoid. I kept that gun for a while. Yeah, I liked it, but again, that one was good because it worked. Like if they didn't work, they were fucking terrible. Nothing but problems. Yeah. That would probably be another gun. Those would probably be my 3. I mean, I really like
those guns were, now I think about it, those guns were so ahead of its time.
Oh yeah.
Like a small spool valve gun, tiny, very light, compact compared to when back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the only thing close at the time was Geo and maybe a Lux.
Shockers.
But, yeah, shockers too. Oh, I had a Shock Tech that was a pretty gun too, now that I'm thinking about it. It was a
Shock Tech, what, Shocker?
Shocker, yeah, that might be decent.
Weston had an urban camo.
Yeah.
Shock Tech Shocker.
He had that one and the teal one because I got the teal one from him.
Oh, did you?
And then he was like, yeah, and he sold me at the time pretty good deal, like $300, and it was right before I was going to Europe, right after I graduated high school. And Jamie had like quit and was coming back for a little bit. And he was like, hey, can I borrow your gun? Like, I need to go a scrimmage at Sebastian's Field down there in Jacksonville. And I was like, sure. So while I'm in Europe, he played with it and sends me a picture of it. Like, and he took the frame off like in the picture and like made it look like it was bent, like as bad as he could. And he sent it to me. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding. Like I'm on vacation. And he goes, I put it in the vise and straightened it out. And it was just him put the frame back together.
Yeah.
But like for like a good 48 hours, I was like, fuck, that gun is so fucked. I was like, and it was so pretty. Like I should have known not to let Jamie use it because he plays with everything like it's his. Like
breaks everything.
And I was like, oh god dang it. Like I mean, I was mad, but not like at him. Like I was like, whatever. But yeah, that was funny. I'm trying to think what other guns, because I've had some decently rare guns.
Weston always loved those pieces of shit shockers because they weren't like the reliability issues weren't fixed on them back then.
Yeah.
And then when they shot, they fucking shot. But
yeah,
when they didn't shoot, they fucking didn't shoot. You would air them up sometimes and the gun would be like, nah, not today.
Yeah.
Air me down. I might turn on about an hour. And then air back on and shoot. Dry fired. Oh, you're good to shoot. We just dry fired. We're good for the whole day. We are good to shoot.
I liked them too. I had 2 or 3 of them. I would like a Russian Legion. Like if I could find a Russian Legion shocker now, not someone charging out the ass.
You know what?
I would get one.
Now knowing it, I had a is it a free flow? Yeah. I had a picture of either 04 or 07 cup. I think it's I can't remember. And this is the weirdest thing to me is I remember going to the Bluffton right there and maybe my memory's fucked up. I remember a little storage unit place. We pulled in there and there was a little store back there. We bought, like dad took us there and the free flow guns were there. I swear it was free flow. And there's a free flow shocker, you know, and I have the picture at dad's house, me shooting it at cup. And that has the flames carved into it.
Yeah.
And it was a blue to black fade free flow shocker. And now knowing that what those shockers go for, that's probably my most rare, because there's some of those guns like the Octane, the other one. There's like 4 of those shockers.
The
free flow is one of them.
It's the tremors are big too.
Yeah. But they go for like a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Like some of those shockers, I never heard of some of those shockers, by the way. They look like complete shit. They're worth like $2,500. I'm like, what? I'm like, you got to be out of your fucking mind.
See, I don't know. You were talking about shockers. I liked them. Like I said, I had two. I had two NXTs and 1 SFT. The SFT was real shitty. Like that gun, I had mega problems with it. It was one I got it for really cheap, like $100. I ended up selling it for like $150, but I was pretty much hoping the dude.
That's what I'm talking about. The SFTs.
Yeah, the NXTs. My NXTs, I didn't have a problem with, other than I had a standard one and the body was just kind of bland. Like it was whatever, but it shot fine. I bought it from actually Nick. He like had bought it and Ego 8, like he just got back from the military in a Lux, and he had all these guns, and then he was like, hey, I'll sell you this for like $200. And I was like, well, shit, those are like $400 guns right now. So I picked it up, and that was when I would always keep like one main gun and just cycle through a bunch of low ends just so I could shoot a bunch of different shit on the side. So I had which I liked. Now I wouldn't ever use it in a tournament or anything. I had a Dangerous Power G3. I had 2 of them actually. One of them was the special edition, and it was always so cool because I don't know how much you've probably not fucked with those guns a lot, but they had the trigger that could spin. So one way it was flat, and you could spin it around like it had I guess a hinge or like it would pivot on itself, and then you'd have like a blade trigger. And when I first got that, I brought that to your dad's field, and all the little kids, I mean, I was a little kid too then, was like, oh, that thing is so cool. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, it doesn't work real well, but that fucking trigger's kind of a cool idea, but everything else is shit. That's how I always thought about the like the Demon, the Vanguards. All the stuff that came in the box with that gun. Yeah. Like the matching anodized Allen keys. You had the Charger, which at the time not a lot of guns recharged, so it recharging was a big deal in 2008, 9. Yeah. And you had the Charger for like 3 different countries. You had like the shitty bottle opener. The case was actually cool, and they had the one-piece barrel kits in them. It was like Lucky something barrel kits. Basically, they were like copies of those.
Lucky 15s.
Yeah, Lucky 15s, which I had 2 of those.
The Warp Sports barrels, the dark barrels.
Is that what they were?
I believe so. Yeah, they come on with dark guns, I think.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. So I went on PB Nation here, and I used to have a thing that cataloged all my paintball guns. And I was up to 40 with my white and red CS1, which I updated that in 2017. So I haven't updated it since then. But I'm missing, which is kind of depressing. I hope I have these somewhere else. I'm missing all my pictures, except for like the last 3 guns that I have up here. They got rid of them. But I'm trying to see if I had anything else that was rare. No.
Speaking of guns,
I had an Iron Man DM9. Sorry.
Oh, that's worth a little bit of mine now too.
Yeah, it was a Mikio Hootman, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huntman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be worth a little bit of money.
Yeah.
How about what you call it? How about Kale?
Yes.
You see the gun he has?
I did, but I didn't. He was yours, wasn't it?
Yeah, he bought another one of my guns. He bought it through Craig. You know, remember Craig?
Yeah.
Craig, he bought Craig's because Craig's finally came in just now. He bought it last week through Craig, and then he brung it to the CPXL when he's helping us out.
Yeah,
and he opened it out of the package, and he's like, "It's like brand new." And I was like, "Oh, let me play with it." And you'll have to answer this. He was like, "Oh, I heard you're like super hard on guns," and I'm like, huh? I'm like, no, I mean, Jamie is super hard on guns. I'm like, I don't like, I'm like very good on guns. Like I don't damage my guns. Like all my guns I can sell like 2 seasons later and they look like quality. Like they don't look beat up. Like I know guys that play and they fucking destroy their shit. But I like to feel that I take care of all my shit, and all my shit is always like pretty mint after a season or 2 of playing with it. And he's like, no, he's like, you'll scratch it up. You'll hurt it. He's like, it's got 0 shots. I said, are you going to shoot the gun? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, it's going to get shots on it then. I'm like, you might as well just break that motherfucker out. Let's break it in.
Yeah, you're somebody who I wouldn't have a problem with letting like use one of my new guns. Jamie is a fucking hard no. Yeah. If I've had the gun a year, I could let him do it. You know what I mean? Because most of the time by then, but that man has broken fucking triggers. Yep. But you know it with Jamie. He's not going to say, hey, I'm going to baby this gun. He says, I'm going to throw this gun in the fucking mud. I'm going to drag it across 17 stakes. I'm going to beat it with a hammer, but I'm going to shoot 14 people on my way down. So, know, like he's going to use it. He's probably the one I would, I don't, every time I hand him a gun, I'm like, God dang. Like,
yeah. Oh, I let him run that force. And that force is a Yosh Rao prototype force. So I'm like, he wanted to shoot. He's been wanting to shoot one for a while. I'm like,
we probably told him no when we got our brand new ones.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, this one's got a little bit of miles on it. You can shoot this one. And like, I'm watching him, making sure he doesn't do that fucking stupid with it. I'm like, let me make sure this motherfucker don't hurt this gun. But he was fine with it, and I was like laughing. But I thought it was funny because he like shot it a little bit, and I'm like, I think you'll like it. I'm like, it's got a good shot, very consistent, very accurate. I'm like, my only knock is a little bit bulky. I'm like, but it is an air hog, and he's got a 77. So he shot it and played with it, and he's like, man, I like a shot. Like, I really like the shot. I'm like, yeah, it's a good shot. I'm like, you just have to get used to it. It's a flat. It shoots completely different than what you're used to shooting. So he'd be playing with it a little bit. He was like, I can get used to this. I kind of like really like it. And he was like, I was watching it in between points. He was like shooting stuff with it on the side of the field, like just randomly shooting shit. I'm like, all right, he likes the gun. And then I'm like, how's the gas mileage? He's like, yeah, I can tell a little bit compared to the Geo, but the Geo is like really good on gas. I'm like, it's kind of hard to beat that. So
it was super funny. So you talking about him in that force, when we were there, we were on the sideline and you had it sitting on the side, and he was behind the net. Like he had just got there, and he looked at me and he goes, whose fucking gun is that? Cause he saw your tank, or I'm assuming he saw just the 45-45. And I was like, oh, that's Wes. I was like, I don't know what he's planning on doing with the 45-45 on that thing. He goes, yeah, that don't make no fucking sense. He goes, fucking idiot, and just like walked off. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was like, he's planning on shooting 2.5 pods, maybe. Like that's about all he's got on that 45.
My old one can get right at 4 pods.
Yeah.
And it was running out of air.
I could shoot with the 68 on mine. I could shoot a hopper and like 5 pods. Like, you know what I mean? Like I could clear my back and pretty much clear my loader. And that was about max. But like 15 years ago, that was kind of standard on like spool valve guns. So I was like in my mind going, it's bad for today, but like, and again, now a lot of people use those 77s. So
yes, and that's what he has.
Yeah. So I was like, if I had a bigger tank,
you think you could shoot 7 pods in a hopper? He's like, I think I'd be right at it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I think you'd be close to it.
Yeah, I think so too. Only thing I could not get used to the shot of that gun. I don't know. That's probably the gun that I shot the worst out of all the guns I've ever owned. Like I kept it a year thinking I would like, I'll learn this gun. I'll learn this gun. And then it was like, I couldn't do it. And then when I sold it and picked up an ice, I played with that gun. I was like, wow, I'm making shots that I was used to making with all my Luxes and like Geos and stuff I've had for all these years. I just, for some reason, could not get used to that gun. And I still don't know what it was.
It is a shot. The trajectory is different.
Yeah. Sure. I just couldn't do it. Cause I noticed like when I started using that gun, like right away, I was like, it'll be a little different. But like halfway through the season, I was like, I'm not hitting shots that I would normally like snap onto something. You know what I mean? Like you see someone make a move and you're like, oh, I can shoot in front of him. I got a high percentage of getting the kill. And I would do it with that gun. And it was like a low percentage of getting the kill. And then I pick up a Lux and I'm like, oh, it's back to a high percentage of me getting the kill. So yeah. I don't think I could ever shoot one of those again, but I've always had a weird thing. I'm saying with Bob Long guns. I mean, I had 2 G6Rs I fucking hated. Granted, some of that was probably me running super high pressure on guns that needed SLP. And then I had a Mark 7. I did not like it either. And I had a Vice, which I fucking hated too. Like I just never, those are the only Bob Long guns I've owned, but I've just never had a good experience with them. And the G6Rs I try to throw out, but the other 2, I'm like, maybe they're just not for me. So
different guns,
different
shot, different quality. You literally have to get used to it. Just by walking around and shooting shit, my shot was off a little bit. But I remember that shooting the old one. I remember how it was. So, but I mean, they're a solid gun. Like, they really are.
I had one more thing we can talk about here. So I peruse PB Nation on occasion. Not many people do that anymore. But on April Fool's Day, so take that for what it is, this guy said he ordered a CS2 Pro from Critical Paintball. And he ordered it. Everything went through. And now their page is saying new batch arriving soon. And that someone from Planet Eclipse has called him and said they are making that marker end of life this year. So that's also on the 31st, allegedly, Paintball Clips filed a patent for CS3. So I don't know if that means towards the end of this year we're getting a new gun, or if that guy's sticking around for April Fool's Day. I mean, he had the documents for everything, so it kind of made, you know what I mean? When I first read it, I was like, oh, this is an April Fool's Day thing. Do you think if they did that, they also had a mech frame? Do you think that's something that's like probable in your mind? You know what I mean? How long has that gun been out now?
No, I mean, no, the CS2 has a mech frame.
Well, CS2 has a mech frame, but if they were going to do I worded that bad. Like, do you think that makes sense though? Like, how long that gun's been out long enough now for a CS3? Is what I was kind of getting at. Or do you think
it's definitely been around 2 full seasons, and maybe even 3 by now. But I said that a little while back, and they released the Pro. Yeah. And my understanding, it only had the updated parts and a full barrel kit came with it. I'm like, there's the same gun.
Yeah.
I mean,
those are the ones me and you consider getting.
I love Planet Eclipse, but everybody like kisses their nuts about the gun. But man, they have fucking shit the bed the last couple of years. They have released old stuff. The
Yeah.
Geo4, I love the Geo4, but all jokes aside, it's really just a CS1 with some updated parts in it, like CS1 with like a CS2 rear grip on it. It's really what it is.
Yeah, I agree.
And I like the gun. It shoots great. Very reliable, accurate, smooth, quiet, decent on gas. You know, it's all pluses, great guns. But I'm like, damn, dude. You know, now I heard, and they've been talking about this for a while, that they are now supposedly, I don't know how, Derek was telling me this weekend, that there's been a pro player that's been using an LV2 for like 6 months now. Do you have the article up there?
Yes, I do have that article as well.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to lead into. So good, keep going.
Yeah, he's been using it for like 6 months now, playing with it. And it has a fake AT pipe in it, so that the pipe that for the air is there on that gun, but it's actually fake. It's not real. So it's going to be similar to how the CSs go.
Yeah. So this article it's actually a year old, April 8th, 2021. Someone from, this isn't a pro player, this is another team from a team called Sandbaggers, was allegedly using what they look like as a CS2. And they have the whole, like how they do with cars in the wild. They have the whole front. It's all taped up on the front, which they do this with paintball
black and
guns
white
too.
Camo shit. You know?
Yeah, but this is Planet Eclipse camo, and they have where there's like a AT pipe taped across. But if you look at the picture, it's like it's crooked enough where you could be like, there's no way you would like produce something with it being that crooked, but it wasn't crooked enough to be like, that's incorrect. You know what I mean? Like it's enough to trick the eye until you look at it. But this article had a little more. Apparently in 2016, they registered the trademark for LV2. But in August of 2020, they cut it. Like they got rid of that trademark. But then July 2021, they refiled for that trademark again. So that'd be about a year. You know what I mean? This picture here is from April 8th of 2021. I mean, that's a year in development. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how long it takes to develop a paintball gun. I have zero clue, but that seems about right. I mean, it's not like you're building it completely from scratch. We've been making guns for 15 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and for a while they were releasing guns every year. So, I don't know. That would be cool though. I mean, it would sell like fucking hotcakes. If that's all they were trying to do. But at this point, they don't release guns every year anymore. So I would imagine, like, I mean, they want to make money, but they're not doing like Ego 7, 08, 10, 11, 12. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I definitely think that it's
got to be in the pipeline at minimum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and a CS3 too.
Because the 1.6 again was just a 1.5 on steroids.
Yeah, I mean did you ever have an LV1 or any of those?
I had the 1.6.
The 1.6.
I had the infamous one. You know.
Yeah. You didn't use that long enough. That doesn't count.
I didn't use it.
Okay, there you go. See.
I just can't get over the pipe on the front. Like, I have to have a Lux grip, like wide open grip, nothing bothering my hand. I can't do the fucking shit no more unless it's a microline at the bottom. My
finger hits it on like the Geos and the LV1s, and I haven't played enough games with either of them to know if I would notice it in the game. But every time I hold one, like my ring finger, I feel it poke out, and I'm like, I don't think that would annoy me in a game, but while I'm holding this gun, it does. And I love playing Eclipse, so it's like I didn't have one. Like I used the Lux until the CS1 came out, and I had a CS1 and a 1.5. They were basically the same gun, just with different milling, making it a little lighter. But to me, those guns are good. I haven't had any Planet Eclipse since then. It's been Luxes and the Force. But that was fun. That was a pretty spur. That was not. I actually had a topic for tonight.
What was your topic?
It was gonna be recovering the CPSL, but we didn't get anywhere near that. I mean, I have it all written down here, and it won't matter honestly. By the time episode comes out, it'll be old. But what other tournaments do we have coming up?
Well, the MVPS is in 3 weeks.
Yes, that's April 22nd.
24th weekend.
Yep.
So we have that. I think we're gonna attempt D3 X Ball there, I believe.
Okay.
It sucks because we don't have much practice on the layout. I think we're going to do a big scrimmage on the Saturday before Easter, which I want to say is the 16th.
Yes. The Saturday before Easter is the 16th. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to do a scrimmage then. The Jacksonville guys are going to come up. Pride Trusting guys are going to come down, and then we'll have our lines there. So we'll have a big turnout then, and that'll be our main MVPS practice. You know. So, well, a quick little adder to the same thing is, I've been asked about a million times for Mike and Ken, mainly Ken. They've wanted me to like take control of the Titans line. Like Mike and Ken are both, newer to the sport, so it's hard for them to kind of lead and do everything with the team when they never really done it before. And they've been doing a really good job for not having any fucking clue like how it's supposed to go around, you know what I mean? But they've been asking and asking and asking. And like I see all this new blood coming into the field, and I'm like, you know how players are, like when players come through the pipeline and they go to play, if sometimes people just love to fuck around and just have a good time, they don't give a fuck who's out there. But some players who are serious about it want to buckle down and play. Those guys like want to have like organization. They want to have like, a legit practice. They want to have like structure, and that's one thing they've always lacked. And I'm always yelling at them. I'm like, dude, like you have 400 people, nobody's on the field ready to play, but everybody wants to like bitch and moan when I'm like, all right, D3, D4, 5 man, get on the field. They're like, oh, it's like, if you want to play, get your guys out here along the net. And as soon as this game's done, walk to the box. You can't get inside the pit, be fucking around. And then if I don't see nobody, I just call out teams that I know need to spin for the tournament and then like huff and puff about it. You know what I mean? So they asked me. And finally this last week, I talked to Ken and Mike about it. And I was like, they wanted me to run it. Ken wants to be out of it. He doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. He just wants to play and do what he's told. Like he wants an assignment. That's what, and both of them said the same thing. Like they don't want to leave. They want to get in there, play. That's all they want to do. They don't want to deal with no bullshit. Because they got players asking all these questions and they just never dealt with that before. So they don't really, they don't want to like, in their defense, they don't want to lead somebody down the wrong path if they don't really know the correct way of doing it in the first place, So, but yeah, I told him that, I would take over and kind of run the camp because Chuck is kind of in and out of it, as he's not in as much as he used to be. So I'll probably take over the upper echelon of those teams. And then I think what they want to do, and it makes sense, is we kind of talked about it a while back, is do a full feeder system, use the Titans as like a D6 beginner D5 line. Project X will go back to like the high end D5 players, like practicing and drilling to become Georgia Extreme. Like that's what we're going to do, like a 3-team feeder system, kind of like, baseball was, minor AAA, and then it goes and then MLB, but the same kind of thing, and I think that's probably what we're going to do here. So, but I got kind of mad like this weekend because I still feel like me and Chuck are the kind of like the good cop, bad cop kind of thing. Like Chuck still babies the players, like he babies everybody. You know what I mean? I'm like, these guys are grown fucking men. They don't need to be babied anymore. Like they've been babied enough, like, and Ken is out there every single morning at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. He's pumping the field up by himself, and then people like Arthur's typically out there. The same guys I see out there every single weekend, right?
They know they know who they are.
Yes, right. We do too. There's plenty of them, but those couple, and then you have the guys that we've known our whole life that show up fucking 2 hours late, expect the field to be blown up like they're fucking God's gift to paintball. I love Can to death, but he's the world's worst. Like that. Like practice at 8 o'clock, he'll be there by 9:30. Field's pumped up, perfect. I'll walk down the field. We're already running drills. He's like not even geared up. It's like, come on, dude, you gotta take your shit serious. But they have new players, and from where we're from, that don't happen. Like, first of all, my hands shouldn't be even fucking dirty. I should be sitting back on the sidelines, drinking beers, having a good time, waiting for you to pump my field up. That's how it should be. And that's how tell me, how were you raised in the paintball field? Like
I blew the field up for everybody until I still, you know what I mean? Like for years when I was on Project X, it was, hey, we blow the field up. You guys were figuring out whatever drills we were going to run, whatever little practice we were going to do. And then field was done. We'd do some drills. We'd play against you guys. We'd go fucking get lunch. You know what I mean? And then we'd go home and play video games. That's what it was for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like maybe longer. And then, I don't know. The whole field blowing up thing drives me nuts now because I feel like I've done my time. So when I walk down there, I don't go to the field unless we're moving bunkers.
Yes.
Like that, and that's maybe shitty of me, like deep down, but it's like I have probably inflated and deflated and moved fields longer than I've played paintball. Like I probably have more hours moving a field around than fucking like physical time spent behind a gun. Like
I know. And when we didn't have the Titans, because most of the guys are good about doing it now, but when we didn't have them, if we weren't down there doing it,
it didn't happen
because Gordon wasn't coming out. Gordon,
Jamie, Payne.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. Shane wasn't helping. Gordon wasn't helping. This is our guys, and they're all like, well, and they're probably thinking we're thinking, well, I've served my time. I don't have to do that no more. It's like, hey, motherfucker, listen, like I'm out here pumping the field. If I'm fucking getting my hands dirty working this field, you are damn sure going to be out in this motherfucker working. So, but anyways, I was telling them that, like, you have to like come up, and Mike and Ken know that, like they grew up, they're fucking adults, like they know it's how it works, like they've been through sports and and they're in the military, like that's how it works. Like the privates go out and clean everything up, like that's how it works. The sergeants show up 35-40 minutes later. This is all done, let me inspect it, make sure everything's good to go. Field's lined up, everything was good to go. All right, let's roll. This is what we're going to do today. Here's your structured practice. This. When this is done, we're doing this. When that's done, we're going to do this. I don't need any talking. I just need playing, drilling, practicing, and get your shit and let's roll. You know what I mean? And I told them, like, this is going to either find out who really wants it and who is just there for a good time, Charlie, to have fun, because I can tell there are some players there that want to fucking drive. They want to fucking, they see the people on TV and shit online playing. That's who they want to be. And they're getting good very fast. But I have a feeling that if you don't give those guys that, I've seen it several times. They just fade away and they just leave because people aren't taking it serious. They're in the pits fucking around, having a good time, and they might be out in the field busting their ass. Like that new kid Kirby, he's been out there 2-3 weekends. I've seen that motherfucker raking the goddamn field for like 2 hours or an hour, raking the field. I'm like, this dude isn't even on a fucking team, and he's out here raking the whole field. It's like, how come we can't have people like that? Like everybody should be out there, like picking up shit, walking the field for stakes, pumping up the bunkers, making sure shit's lined up, moving shit off the field, straightening up the boxes. Like they should want to do that. You know what I mean? It's like, we have all been down those road and we've all had to do all that shit. That's just the way it is. It's not hazing. It's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's just, that's just what it is. Like that's
there isn't a word for it. You know what I mean? It's literally, we've all done it and it's not fucking fun. You know what I mean? Setting up a field, changing a field around sucks. Like, but you got to do it.
We got enough guys. We have fucking 200 people.
Yeah.
And I'm glad with you, because when we only had like 6 doing it, it fucking sucked.
Yep.
But we had to do it because who wanted to play?
Yep.
We wanted to play, But,
I mean, if people, this is something that I don't think a lot of new players quite understand. Like, look at your dad's field and the shit we did to play paintball when we were young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Weston was just saying that last weekend. He's like, man, or 2 weekends ago, he's like, man, you know what? It's crazy what we have now compared to what we like grew up playing in.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, these motherfuckers don't know.
Yep.
Like they see, like they watch the videos online. They're like, oh, well, X Factor Park and PB Fit, like everybody just has a nice turf fields and giant pits. Like, no, that like you are right now in like an amazing field. You can go to a lot of other fields on the East Coast and get your fucking reality checked real quick. You are lucky that you had this field, because when we grew up, that's not what it was. It was running in the trenches and the fucking sand and just cleaning your shit. It was fucking nasty.
2.5K air fills.
Yeah. Running up in front. Yeah. You only got like 3K max ever. Yep. And then you had to run down, play at one point. And if you could survive that point, you know what I mean?
Me and Joey would go fill up the tanks on a Friday after school. Like, people didn't see that shit. Like, we would hop in your dad's Hummer or the Expedition. Having a great fucking time doing it. It was fucking fun because we hung out together. But it's like, no one ever saw the back end of shit that had, or like your dad running down to fucking Low Country on a Saturday morning to get paint points. Like, people really don't understand how good they have it at Hopper. At most modern, I say modern fields. At any of your big fields these days, Hopper I would consider a big field, like from where we're at now. Like, you know what I mean? It's a big field. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, I just don't understand. You know,
I'm glad you got your rant out. Glad you got your rant out.
Well, it's just crazy because we had I was bitching at fucking Ken and them because they want us to run the lines and they want me to like set the lines for the tournament. You know, what's my thing? You miss practices before the event. You're not playing the event. You're not playing the event. Yep. This is the way it is. Of course, the first time we fucking have a thing, you know, one of their players doesn't show up, you know, and he hasn't been here for fucking 6 goddamn months, hasn't been in any of the off-season practices, hasn't been here playing in any of the shit. Yeah. And I'm like, guess what? He don't play. First thing, well, we gotta play him. We gotta play him. It's just fair. No, there is no fucking fair, dude. Like, I got people out here that are, first of all, way better than that motherfucker is. And he's been out here every single weekend. He was even going to drive up to the event, not even play, and just help you motherfuckers. Yeah. And I'm like, and he's a D4 player. And he had nothing about playing. I'm like, last night we talked about, I said, who's the D4 player for the D5-5 man? They're like, oh, we don't have one. We need one. I'm like, okay. I'm like, huh. I reached out to him and the guy who plays at our field all the time. He's always there. He cleans up. And when he's done, he's reffing. You know what I mean? Anyways, reached out to him and he said, sure, I could play B4, D5, whatever you want to play. I'll fit in. I'll fit in where you put me in. I'm like, cool. So I'm like, hey, this is the guy we got. We could put him in wherever we want. I could kick back already on it. It's like, well, we really should be fair to so-and-so because, you know, he did play. I'm like, that player played 2 points this weekend. Yeah. I watched because I haven't seen him in like literally 6 months. Like he hasn't been on the field at all. And then like, well, he made the last SPL event. It's like, okay. And the fuck does that mean? Like I shit on Carson and Mike's like, yeah. And look what you said to Carson. Like you like Carson because Mike 100% agrees with me. He's like, you don't practice, you don't play. And he's like, you shit on Carson all the time. I'm like, guess what? He wasn't practicing. And he always, hey man, when you let me play with you? I said, you're not. Like you won't play with me. Like I will not play with people with me who don't practice. I'm sorry. But guess what? Carson's been out practicing all the fucking time. And he drove up in the middle of the fucking night to come up and pit and then play. Like he's putting in the effort to become a player. So I reward people like that. People who don't want to fucking help anyone out and be selfish, you know? And then Chuck's like, well, you know, you got to show respect to so-and-so. And I said, I don't respect a fucking anybody who's not in the trenches with me. You're in the trenches with me, sucking it up, fucking dealing with the bullshit. Cool, dude. Hey, I got no problem. You're out here in the shit weather. Cool. You're out here cleaning the field, practicing, cleaning up, drilling, like on time. Like, dude, more power fucking to you. But you only want to come around good time Charlie when it's time the events. No, that's what me and Gordon never seen eye to eye right there. Gordon, how many times have Gordon missed a practice? All the fucking time.
A lot. You are on a fucking roll tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna fucking title this episode.
Tell me.
Oh my god. I don't think I'm gonna call it. I'm not gonna say anything right now. I'm gonna take my neutral stance. I think
no. Tell me right now. Out of all the years you played, does that not bother you? Where players?
Oh, it drives me nuts when people don't show up to practice and want to play. It bothers me. I have sat myself because I've missed 3 weekends that are like, I'm not going to go to the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, or I'm not going to play. I'll coach helping. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would be fucking whatever they say. Like if I let myself play and not hypocritical. Thank you. If I was like, oh, that's fine. I missed 3 practices. I'll go play where so-and-so couldn't. Like, that's something I could never do. You know what I mean? That I couldn't do that. I wouldn't be right. And I would go mad. I was going to say something that was totally like about you. Back to the setting up the field. There were multiple times where me and Payne were sitting in the parking lot and I looked at him, I said, we should fucking leave and go get breakfast. Like leave one of our cars here, go get breakfast and come back in an hour. Or like say, hey, yeah, we're going to be there and fucking intentionally show up an hour late. Like we never did it because again, I fucking feel guilty if I, you know what I mean? Hey, if I say I'm going to be there at 8:30, 99% of the time I'm going to be there at 8:30. And if I'm 8:45, then something happened. Like, there's very few where I'm like late and don't say anything, but I was always like paying me to tell me there at 8:15, whatever our time was going to be, and literally show up an hour late on purpose and see what was done. And Payne was always like, well, nothing will be done. He goes, whatever Wes and Jamie, like, and Courtney get done will be done. Like,
Yeah, that's
it. What it would be. And I was always like, and then we feel bad to you guys.
The workload on us worse.
Yep. And that's exactly how we always felt. We were like, we feel like shit, so we won't do it. But there were many times, especially at Combat Zone, where me and him would be there. Like, time was 8:30. Me and him were there at like 8:15 or whatever, because I was coming from Florida or wherever I was coming from. And we were like, they're lucky. Like, the other three, like the people that do the field are lucky we like them. Everybody else, we could have cared less if it was done or not. Like, we could have went home and fucking sat on the couch. Like, whatever to us. But that was a fucking video. I mean, that was you. I gotta stop you. You're not wrong. I agree. Everything you said, I agree with. Like, I mean, there's nothing I can add to that. You're right. I mean, I thought I was gonna have to do damage control this weekend because Jamie looked at me at one point. He looked at me. He goes, "You might need to go talk to Wes." That's why I walked off from reffing the Dorito side and was hanging around over there. I was over there, and he was like,
"For what?"
He said that he goes, "You might have to go do damage control with Wes," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So I stopped. I told Shane, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna walk off." I was like, "Jamie said I might need to go over here because whatever," and I went over there, and I was like, "Everything seems fine when I'm over here." Like, I waited like. I was there like 30 minutes. I was like, nothing's happening. So I don't know. I don't know if you were yelling. Or
I yelled a couple times this weekend for sure.
Like I said, I can't hear shit on that side of the field. Like, in between points, me and Shane are talking. You know what I mean? Like, we were reffing, and then like when nothing was happening, me and him were bullshitting around doing our own fucking thing. And that's when Jamie was like, "You might need to go over there and calm everybody down." So I walked off, and I was like, everything seems fine. Like, this is like a normal.
Yeah, but me and Chuck kind of got into a little bit about it. I'm guessing this is probably it was about the getting the guys in the box.
Oh yeah, that might have been what it was.
Like, they weren't in the box, and I'm like looking around, and then every point we're all like talking and fucking around. I'm like, dude, this is your event practice.
Yeah.
Titans had 2 5-man lines fully, and they had enough to do either 2 more 3-man lines on top of those 5-man lines. Now, granted, they did have some guys that were playing both. I understand that.
Yeah.
But there were so many people there. They can be running fucking points nonstop and just going and going and going. And Chuck's like, "Well, this is their practice. They need to play." It's like, okay, then get them on the fucking box. If they want to play, get them on the box.
Yeah, that's probably
like,
what it was.
I see 3 of them standing there and the net staring at me. It's like, do you want to play? Then come to the net and get on the box, because I'm trying to like coach a little bit here and coach them and also organize the practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody has to pitch in to make it run smoothly, but that's probably what it was. Me and Chuck's like, it's their fucking practice. I'm like, it is their fucking practice, but guess what? They're not on the fucking box. Like, if
that might have been what it was. Like I said, I missed it.
It was probably that, because that's probably what it was. But I was like, we were arguing about it. I'm like, if it's their practice, if it's my practice, I'm trying to get on the box as much as I can. I'm bullying my way on the field. I'm going to let them bully. I want spins.
Now, I liked what we did before practice when we ran the drills, because it gave like, we had the options to run it too, and then I was able to bounce between the guys shooting left-handed, like while you and Chuck were doing the main thing. Well, I was able to like take them after you guys said whatever you said. Sometimes they would be like, "Well, what is this?" And I would say, "Well, this is how I do it." I'm like, I'm not saying it's the best way. I was like, but take what Wes just told you, what Chuck just told you, and what I'm going to tell you, and say, find what out of all the 3 people with information that are feeding you good information of combined fucking 50 years worth of paintball playing. Somebody is going to tell you something that'll work for
you. Bring it in. Close. Use all of it.
Take it all. Like, Wes is going to tell you one thing. Cool. I guarantee you he's right. Chuck's going to tell you something. I guarantee you he's right. And I'm going to feed you the best information I got. Like, it seemed to work out really well, because by the end of it, like, some of them were like, they had moved their feet in. Like, they go up behind the Aztec and their feet were fucking wider than their shoulders. And I think
it was a like, not a rude awakening, because nobody's like cocky out there.
Yeah.
But there are some people that are cocky out there, but you get out there and it's like, okay, first drill of the day, snap shooting. To me, I'm like, this is fucking child's play, right?
Yep.
I walk up, grab a gun that I never shot before. First 2 shots, whack, hit it, run a gun, shot like 60, 70%. I'm like, all right, cool, jog off. Yep. I'm like, all right, here we go, first one up. And then I watched Ken. I think maybe Ken was the first one behind me. He's ready to go. I watched him miss like 15 shots. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, not drilling.
Yep.
Playing points. Fucking around.
Yeah.
Like, and then I watched everybody. It wasn't just him. Everybody missed a lot of shots. And I'm like sitting there watching. I'm like, okay. Until it got to like Jim and Steven, they had prior practice. They understand how it works. But the rest of those guys were like really bad.
Yep.
It's like, all right, like you see what you need to work on now, don't you? He's like, oh, it's just left-handed. I'm like, cool. Guess what? Right there is right-handed. Let's go see what you got over there. Same shit. Pop, pop, pop. And they're going slow, like leaning out, pop, leaning out, pop. I'm like, you're not snap shooting. You're coming out aiming then shooting. Like that's different.
Yep.
That gets you killed in the game. Like, you can't do that. But yeah, they were like way off. I'm like, that's going to be drills. Like you should be doing that for a case of paint.
Yep.
Drill that in, but yeah, we're going to do that.
I agree. So, that goes across. I mean, that sucks, but it is what it is. All right, good sir. I'm going to cut you off on that one. I let you go that was an hour. We haven't had an hour-long podcast in a while, and I just let you rant for 20 fucking minutes. So, everybody, we do love you. Believe it or not, Wes does want you to be a better paintball player. That's the only reason he is saying what he's saying. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong. You're a piece of shit. You're a real piece of shit.
You just show effort, man. Just show effort. It's all I ask.
That's it.
Just
and it's not personal. I feel like I have to say that at the end of a lot because like we've got messages, and I think people think what we say is.
I don't think I dislike anybody out there. Like I like everybody out there. I really do. I have no problem with anybody, but just show up ready to put in work because there are people there, and I can't say this like with any other intention. There are people there that you don't know how much money they have, and they might have just enough money they save up all week and they have to budget their life. Because I do know guys that budget their life around to play paintball, right?
Yep.
And it is not fair to them that they budget their $80 that they saved up all week, and they might have skipped a lunch or skipped a dinner just to say, hey, I got enough to go play for 2 cases of paint this weekend. You were a kid at once. You know how that works.
Oh yeah.
You do the same thing, right?
Yep.
But going out there, they do this, and then you're like wasting their time. You don't want to help them out. You don't want to, you know what I mean? So don't be fucking selfish. Like people are out here spending their money, their hard-earned money on this. Like show a little bit of respect. Like when you get on the field, fuck them up. But bust your ass because somebody else is wasting their time and money doing the same thing you are, and you might have $10,000 in the bank and they might have $300 in the bank, and that's what they love to do. That's what they want to do. So show some respect and do the same thing.
I like it. That might be the nicest thing I've ever heard you say, and I've known you for fucking 15 years, maybe 16 years.
And fuck them motherfucker.
And fuck that motherfucker when you're playing against them, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, that was good.
One last thing. Did you see Kirby shoot that fucking kid 5 times in the back of the head?
No.
Oh my God. Kirby's obviously second week ever playing. He never played. He played airsoft, like competitive airsoft. So he's like, has some knowledge about being
and some field awareness.
Crawls right to the Viper. The kid's in the Viper. He's a little bit newer as well, but he's got gear.
Yeah.
He comes right behind the kid, puts the barrel on the back of his head, literally shot him 5 times in the back of the fucking head. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then he runs down and shoots 2 more of them. And I'm like, Walker, I'm like, listen, I love that. That is exactly how you need to be in an event, in a scrimmage, not here playing like
your friends
players and your buddies. He's like, okay. And I know he had no clue. He came around, he shot, and it was all on the fucking back of the head. Pop, 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 pop. I'm like, fuck me, dude. I'm like, God.
Oh, that's a rough one.
Oh, dude,
was the kid good?
I'm like, oh, fuck. The kid, he leaned down, held his head, and got up and walked right off. I said, I'm like, that just fucked him up bad, dude. That rang his fucking bell. Yeah. But he got up, did that fucking thing, walked off. So.
Oh, that's good. That's a plus.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm glad I missed that one. Maybe not. Maybe I would have liked to have seen it as long as the kid's good.
It was good to see him for sure. I was like, oh, God.
You're like, he reminds me of me.
Yeah. So.
Well, all right, everybody. Like I said, nothing's personal. We love everybody. It's just all fun paintball stories. But I would ask if you have anything else, but I'm not gonna. That's all he has this weekend. I'm sure of it. But yeah, we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, listening, all the stuff that people do. And remember the podcast.
Buying the merch, not buying the merch.
Buying merch, not buying merch. Remember, it's every 2 weeks now because someone messaged me last week and said I forgot to upload it. And I said, bullshit, didn't forget to upload it. It's every 2 weeks now because we need more time because if not, the episodes are going to be getting shorter. So we can keep them 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes. But peace out. We will see you guys on the next one.
Later.